Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video that I've never seen on BookTube before. At least I don't think I have. It's probably been done. I just haven't seen the people I watch do it. And I really wanted to do this video for a while now because I feel like every single time I change my rating on Goodreads, I always feel really bad because I feel like, you know, when I do wrap-ups and stuff, I tell people like what's 5 stars, what's 4 stars, and then when I go and I change my rating, I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want these people to think that I still think this is 5 stars or whatever. And especially with the 5-star ones, like 5 stars are obviously rare for a lot of people. And so when I change a 5-star to like a lower rating, I always feel bad, like I want to tell everybody that I changed my rating on it. And so I thought this would be a good way to like share with you guys all the books that I've kind of changed my rating on. And these are only the ones that I remember. I'm sure there's a lot of other ones that I've changed my rating on, but these are the ones that are like the most like memorable in my head as far as like me raving about them or whatever. So the first book that I changed my rating for was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So I gave this book 5 stars at first, and I really did love this book. I thought it was a great book. And I gave this book 5 stars, I remember, because I really liked the ending and I kind of liked the message that I got from the ending. It was kind of like this overall great, like, positive message, I guess, that I really liked. But the thing about this book over time is it has kind of like, it's been a little forgettable. And I think the problem with this book, to be honest, is the fact that it was very repetitive. And I think that that was the biggest issue with this book. And I did feel like during the reading process, it kind of got a little repetitive. But you know how sometimes you have those books that have like really bomb endings or something, or just like a really good ending, and it kind of makes you forget about the rest of the reading process? I think that's kind of what happened with this book. And I was like, you know, it wasn't 5 stars. Like, I wanted it to be 5 stars, but it just wasn't quite 5 stars. Maybe like a 4.5. But I decided to change it down to a 4 star. It was still a great book, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it was like 5-star feelings, you know what I mean? So the next book is Behind Your Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. So I read this book last year. So this book I originally gave 4 stars, and I actually changed my rating to 5 stars. And the reason I changed my rating with this one is because I loved the ending. And I feel like when you've read as many books as I've read, it's really rare when a book just, like, the twist is so unexpected and you just do not see it coming at all. And with this book, the twist was so good and surprising to me, and I was so happy that something actually completely caught me off guard. And so I had to give this book 5 stars. Like, yes, there were times where the plot got a little bit slow at times, but it's something that I think I could ignore because the twist was so good and so epic. So if you're looking for a book that has just a phenomenal ending, I would definitely recommend this one. If you guys haven't seen the show, I think there's like a show or a movie or something, but so good. I just couldn't deny the fact that I haven't forgot about this twist, and it's been like about a year. And whenever somebody like asks me for a book recommendation with a really good twist in it, this is the one I recommend. So I can't deny the fact that it deserves 5 stars. So the next book is The Gracier by Kim Liggett, and I originally gave this book 4 stars. And I remember why I gave this book 4 stars, because I feel like the reading process for me was a little bit, like, I wasn't exactly sure how I was feeling about it. I remember at the time. I wasn't sure like where the story was going. Like, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect with it. Like, I was reading it kind of confused on where it was going, and I think it kind of affected my reading process a little bit. And I can't deny that, I really truly can't, but this book has stuck with me for so long, and I feel like you just can't predict what books are going to stick with you and what books are going to be really, really forgettable, and this one has stuck with me for a long time. And if I'm being honest, the characters have stuck with me, the romance has stuck with me, and it ended up being probably one of my most memorable reads of last year. And last year, honestly, was like the crappiest reading year ever. And out of all the books that I read, I feel like this one, along with a couple other ones, probably stuck with me the most. So I couldn't deny the fact that, yes, maybe the reading process was a little bit iffy at times, but overall, I just loved the story. I loved the characters, and I loved the romance. And I have to say, this is a book that I'll probably reread in the future, because I think this is one of those books that you'll like more the second time around. I had to change this one to a 5 stars because it just stuck with me. Okay, so the next book that I changed my rating on was The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. So I have an interesting reasoning for this one. So as I just said when I was talking about The Gracier, last year's reading year was not the best reading year. This year in my book journal, I'm actually rating my reading years. So from now on, like between 1 and 10, I will rate my reading year. And this year has been phenomenal. I've had the best reading year ever. Like, I would say it's a 7 to 8 reading year. Last year was probably like a 4. 4 or 5 in regards to reading, like how my reading was, how many books that I really liked, how many books were just like really grabbing me. It just was not a good year for me, and I don't feel like I gave very many 5 stars. I only gave 1 gold star. And I read this book last year during my kind of crappy reading year, and I was desperate, I swear, to love a book. Like, I wanted a 5-star book. I wanted to feel something so desperately. And I think with this book, I convinced myself that I loved it because I wanted to like a book so bad. I know that sounds super, super weird, but I think that that is what happened with this book, because I remember the entire time I was reading this, I was like, why is this book so long? Like, why? I don't understand why this book keeps going and going and going and going. And I did not think that this book needed to be as long as it was. There was definitely lines in it that made me kind of cringe a little bit. The hate in this book, like the hate to love trope, I thought was done kind of poorly. Like, there was no reason whatsoever for her to hate the main character in this book. Like, he didn't really do anything that wrong, but she like despised him, and I was kind of like, what? I don't get it. There was definitely just flaws with this book, but I so desperately wanted to love a book that I was like, oh yeah, Kara, it was 5 stars, but it was not 5 stars. So I moved this down to 4 stars, and I feel so much better about that rating. Not that this book was bad or anything. I did enjoy it. It did give me a lot of the feels that you're looking for in a romance book at the end, but the overall reading process definitely wasn't a 5-star reading process, so definitely 4. So the next book I changed my rating for was Nothing to See Here, and this, I can't remember who this is by, but I unhauled this book a long time ago. Like, when I got done reading it, I felt nothing for this book, and I think I gave this book 3 stars because I really wanted to like it, and there were elements that I kind of liked about it. But after like sitting on it for a long time, I realized I had no tie to this book. I cared so little about it. Like, the second I got done reading it, I forgot about it. Like, 0 feelings whatsoever. So I just unhauled it right away and just kind of got rid of it. It's one of those books where you read it, but it's so forgettable that you're just like, I don't even feel like it counts that I read it. You know what I mean? So I changed this from a 3 to a 2 star just because it was that, it just didn't leave any mark on me whatsoever. So this book definitely had to be lowered down to a 2. So the next book is Honey Girl, and this book I read, I think 2 years ago or something. And this is another one of those books that I feel like I liked certain aspects of the book, but that didn't really make it so I liked the book, if that makes sense. So I gave this book 3 stars because I wanted to be generous with it, and I was like, you know what? I could give it 3 because there was like elements that I liked, but after thinking about it for a long time, there was so much about this book that annoyed the crap out of me, and it drove me crazy in certain parts that I was like, no, Kara, like, you're being generous because I tend to be very generous with my ratings, if I'm being honest, because I feel bad giving people low ratings. But I was being generous with this one, and I decided to lower it from a 3 to a 2 because when a book like irritates me and like really actually makes me aggravated, I need to admit to myself that it doesn't deserve a 3, it deserves a 2. Because with 3s, I still feel like I kind of like the book, like I'm glad I read it, but with this one, I kind of am like, I could have just like not read it and I would have been way happier, you know? So 3 to a 2. The next book is a book that I wanted to like so bad, and this is something that happens to me as well, and it's cover rating. So the book that I'm going to be talking about is Wilder Girls. Now, this book wasn't horrible, I would say, but I really didn't love the story. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like how it was open-ended. I feel like a lot of things didn't make sense. There were some plot holes in it. But when this cover came out, I was obsessed with it. Like, I saw this cover and I was like, I need that book right now. And I wanted to like this book so bad because the cover was like my favorite cover I'd ever seen. And so because I wanted so badly to like this book, I was generous with my rating and I gave it 3 stars. But over the years, I was like, Kara, you did not like this book. Yes, you like the cover, but you're not rating the cover, you're rating the story. So I ended up having to lower it down to a 2-star rating, and I was much, much happier with that rating. Again, I tend to be very generous with my ratings because I want so badly to like every book that I read, but sometimes I just have to admit to myself, you don't like them, and that's fine. So this one definitely had to be lowered down to a 2, but I still love the cover because it's beautiful. But that doesn't mean the book was good. So So that is it for this video, you guys, and I plan to film these more in the future if I do tend to change my ratings, and I'll kind of keep track of whether or not I do change ratings and stuff like that, because I know there's been a lot of other books that I've changed my ratings for. I just can't remember, but I do remember like changing these ones and being like, no, Cara, like you thought you loved them, but you didn't. So I'll try to keep track of these more and let you guys know what like my future changes are with my Goodreads and my ratings, and I think that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video was interesting, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.